So what we're about to do is we're going to perform a social experiment with my son. There is a lot of high-class people in this area, and what we want to do is we want to measure their willingness to help others. Okay, so we're going to talk about that I am somebody that's being displaced. Basically, the guerrilla groups steal the land from people, and I am one of those victims. And I'm now in the city trying to make a way. And we're going to do this today. Okay, so stay tuned.
For this experience, we started at home preparing their clothing, their shoes, their hair. For me, it was amazing. I was very expecting your reaction and Benji's reaction. I didn't know how it was going to happen, and I feel proud of him, of our son, because he did a great job. He was standing at his side, listening, looking at the people, and I am thankful for that.
We're going to wait and see if somebody is willing to help us.
What went through my mind when we first started doing this social experiment was the thought of living what other people live in this kind of situation. And we, as missionaries, as evangelists, we go to the parks and we go to the streets to talk to people in that situation. And to us, putting ourselves in their shoes, it helps us understand from a different perspective what they're going through.
Caballero, una preguntita. Mi nombre es Héctor, estamos desplazados, estamos aquí tratando de buscar una ayuda, con qué comer, ya mi hijo. ¿Será que tú me puedes ayudar con algo?
No tengo nada.
Nada.
No.
Bueno, gracias.
When I started with my son, and he was very apprehensive about doing this, and I was trying to motivate him that we needed to do this so that we can show the state of human beings, you know. And when I started getting rejected, it's a feeling that you can only explain when you are in that situation. You know, rejection, when you talk about rejection, you talk about people ignoring you, but when you are in that situation, it's different. You're looking at things and you're feeling things that you don't want to feel. And when you see people going by as if you are invisible to them, obviously, you know, everybody's got their own concerns, but feeling what you feel at a situation like that is something that is unspeakable.
Señora, buenas tardes. ¿Cómo está? Mi nombre es Héctor. Estamos desplazados, necesitamos una ayudita, algo para comer. ¿Nos podría ayudar? ¿Cómo? Ahora no. Bueno, gracias.
As time went by and we started doing this, obviously the first couple of people don't get too much of a reaction. And then I get one or two that will give me a coin. And the coin here in Colombia,
20 cents.
is not even 20 cents, 5 cents, 2 cents. That's what it amounts to. And I started to think, you know, what can people do with that? How do people live on that? And it's a strange situation because now you understand what these people are going through. We don't know what people's situations, we don't know what they're going through, why they're in the way they are, and that's the reason why we need to intersect these individuals that are in the street. And you know, you can look at them and see for yourself.
Caballero, ¿cómo está? Mi nombre es Héctor. No, bueno. Caballero, ¿cómo está? Mi nombre es Héctor. Estamos buscando una ayuda.
I don't know what's worse, if the people that ignore you completely or the people that look at you bad. I think if you're thinking about this way, is that if people ignore you completely, you don't exist. But if they look at you wrong, they're making that assertion that
A judgment.
yeah, they make that assertion that you are there at least.
Yo me sentía como triste porque la gente no ayuda, no hace nada.
Benji was uncomfortable, and I will say that once I started talking to him and telling him that we needed to measure a little bit of how people are, and that this will help him understand why we do the things that we do. He started understanding. I mean, he knows why we go to the parks and we go to the streets and we talk to people, but when we put ourselves in that side of the story, I think that he understood, and now he can appreciate a little more his life and what he has. At first, they look at you and they don't believe too much what's going on, but there are some people that look at us a second time and they saw my son, and I think they were moved by that. And then I started seeing how they were asking questions. Where are you from? What are you doing here? How long you been here? And this is where you understand that there are some people that do feel the need to help, because that's God acting through them. And they just want to make sure that they're doing the right thing. One of my questions to them was, how do you know who to help?
Muchas gracias por... Él se llama Benjamin. Juanita, muchas gracias. No, te los puedes quedar. Estamos haciendo un experimento social. ¿Ok? Les agradezco mucho por su corazón, de verdad. Y es mucho más de lo que hemos visto en esta media hora que llevamos acá pidiendo, y de verdad que no muchas personas. Pero la pregunta que yo tengo para ustedes es: ¿cómo saben cuándo dar? ¿Cómo saben cuándo ayudar? Porque hay mucha gente en esta ciudad que pide dinero, ¿cierto? Entonces, ¿cómo saben ustedes cómo dar, cómo ayudar, cuándo ayudar?
Yo creo que hay dos cosas. Primero, que la persona esté consciente de sí misma.
Sí.
Bajo el efecto de sustancias y demás.
De sustancias.
Pues, lo otro es, por ejemplo, con los niños.
Ajá.
Por eso le pregunté al niño el nombre.
Ajá.
Porque ya siento como inseguridad que los niños dormidos o así me
Ah,
dan seguridad.
Sí.
Entonces, pues como vi al niño tranquilo y eso, con mayor razón me sentí tranquila.
No, de verdad, muchas gracias. Esto nos ayuda muchísimo para lo que estamos haciendo. Bueno, que estén muy bien. Dios los bendiga. Bueno, chao.
I decided, I was looking around because there wasn't that many people coming by, and I told Benji, I said, let's go to this group of people that were sitting on this table. And I thought, these are older men. They must understand a situation such as this, especially if I show them my son. They're not walking by, so I'm gonna be able to grab their full attention. And when I got there, I was very surprised.
¿No tienen nada? Sí, de pronto. A ver, ven. Este es mi hijo. Él viene conmigo. Bueno, muchas gracias. Dios se bendiga.
They didn't care. Only one reached out to his pocket and took out a couple of coins, and it must have been maybe 15 cents.
Quiero contarles que nosotros estamos haciendo un experimento social y estamos probando o tratando de medir cómo las personas están tratando de ayudar a otras personas que lo necesitan. ¿Sí me entiendes? Entonces, te agradezco mucho, caballero.
And then he started saying, oh, well, good job, God bless you. I was even surprised by that response. And I said, I will admit that I was being a little sarcastic, And I said, well, this social experiment is to measure people's hearts. And there is a lot of people that don't want to help. Thank you very much for your help. And I gave the money back to this other guy, and I left.
Amigo, ¿cómo estás? ¿Bien o no?
I was very surprised with the guy that was working in the streets, because I was expecting a different response from him. I was expecting him to say to me, hey, get to work. If you see me working and I'm in the same situation, I think you can do it too. And he didn't do that.
Lugar donde dormir y todo eso. ¿Ah? Nada, no me puede ayudar. Nada. Diga a ver, hermano. ¿Me pongo a trabajar con usted? ¿Me va a dar trabajo?
He gave me a different response, and of course, I was very humbled by that. But then I decided to ask him. I had a question in mind, and I was going to ask him, because there's a lot of people in a situation like that that they will resort to stealing. Mm-hmm. And I said, so what if I was to steal your property or the things that you want me to help you sell to make some money? And he says, it's your decision if you want to do that or not. I do my job. I will hope that you will do the same. And that was amazing.
Those situations for me those hearts makes me cry.
I will say that it brings confirmation to the work that we're doing. We always felt that we needed to help people who are in the streets, because we don't know what situations they're going through. We don't know why they got into drugs or alcoholism or even women in prostitution.
Estamos buscando una ayuda, estamos desplazados. Nada. Ni una monedita, hombre. Caballero, estamos haciendo una colecta para poder conseguir algo para la comida y dormir esta noche.
¿Tuyo?
Sí, claro. Mi hijo.
¿De dónde viene?
No, nosotros estamos desplazados, hermano. Sí.
Yo también vine desplazado.
¿También? ¿De qué parte?
Años.
Sí.
Del norte del valle.
Del norte del valle, ¿ah? Ah, bueno. ¿Cómo te llamas?
Jonathan.
Jonathan. Yo me llamo. Mi hijo se llama Benji. Jonathan, muchas gracias, hermano.
Le entrego por el medio.
No, muchas gracias.
¿Por qué?
Estamos haciendo un experimento social y de las muchas personas que estamos mirando a ver, medir cómo está el corazón de la gente en esta ciudad.
And I believe now that living what we lived and doing the things that we did to measure people's hearts, it kind of drives us. It drives us farther into the future to do more, to try to do more, but now with a purpose.
Es importante que los niños deben tener una familia en vez de estar en la calle y sean ahí pobres y no tienen nada.
And when I see my husband guiding my son and seeing Benji looking at his father, and at the end Benji was asking why a lot of people don't help, Mom. And I had the opportunity to explain him what is happening in the world.
Doing this experiment and actually making the decision to do it, it helps us understand, or at least look for an answer, look for guidance. This will help us look for guidance and also test our hearts, where we are in the work that we're doing and how to continue moving forward. I think this is a good way to get guidance from the Lord.
Okay, so today's experiment was very, very hard, I will say, because there is a lot of people that are not willing to help others. And one of the questions that we have for them was, how do you know, for the ones that helped, how do you know who to help? Because there's a lot of people in drug addiction and alcohol, and basically people judge and they see the appearance, and they want to make sure that you're not doing drugs, that you're not doing alcohol. They want to see that the situation is real for whatever or however they come out, especially when there is a kid involved, like my son. They were more willing to help. A lot more people turned their back on me because I was by myself, and they're not willing to help. So, you know, in a good sense, I think the little bit of people will make the difference.